You're tuned in to Vocalo Radio, your favorite Chicago urban alternative radio station. I'm your host, Bekoe, and I have a special guest alongside me. This brother is super talented. I got to see him live a couple of times, and each time I've seen him live, he's always blown me away. Supreme vocalist. He goes by the name of Adam Ness. How you doing?
Hey, I like that. Supreme vocalist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know it's not a lie.
Oh no.
Like your vocals, like the first time I saw you actually hit the stage was at the Wire.
Mhm,
You opened up for the Boy Illinois headliner. He brought you out.
mhm.
And you hitting that stage with the band, and man, you blew me away. From there, I was tuned in. You performed your single Blush at
Mhm.
that time, which we'll get into. And from there, it was just history with me. I fell in love with it, man. So
Thank you.
it's a blessing to have you on the line with me. And I got to start things off by saying, what up, though?
What up, though? That's how they say it in Detroit. What up, though?
Exactly. What up, though? You know,
Wait,
speak.
you from Detroit?
I'm not from Detroit, but you
Oh,
are.
yes, I am.
So I had to, come up with a little terminology so you know what I'm finna get into. And
Wow, that's special. What
yeah,
up,
hey,
though?
I mean, break down what up, though, for the people that may not understand that.
I mean, it's not like necessarily Detroit slang because the whole world says it, but when I was coming up, it was a big thing. What up though? What up though? What up though? What up though? It's like the way Chicago people shake hands, the way Detroit people shake hands is just different. I appreciate the fact that you even recognize that small little idiosyncrasy for the Detroit people.
Yeah, gotta shout out Detroit. I got family out there, and learning that you're also, from Detroit. What was your childhood like growing up in Detroit, Michigan?
My childhood was pretty adventurous, I would have to say. I always found myself in some kind of adventure. It wasn't until later on in my teens that I started becoming more active musically.
Hmm.
Before that, it was a bunch of skating at every Friday, every weekend, skating. That's what Detroit people do, skate and get dressed up and go to church.
I mean, also you went to I want to say Mosaic Youth Theater out in Detroit. Was that like your start at music?
Yeah, technically that was technically my start. I learned a lot about performance. I learned about a lot about my own voice. I didn't even sing in full voice at that time. Full voice for the listeners who don't know, it's just when you sing in a big belt, a big chest voice like Mariah Carey or Aretha Franklin. You know how they sing loud like that. I didn't even know I had a full voice. I was singing so soft and so timidly, like a little Aaliyah or a little Brandy or something like that. But when I got to Mosaic, I really learned that I had way more voice than I knew I did.
I mean, who encouraged you to go to Mosaic?
My mom, she was on her way home from work and she heard that Mosaic was having auditions and she took me, and it's a funny story because she didn't really want me to be in there after a while because she noticed all the little gay kids. So she just was like, okay, I had to find myself, getting myself to and from rehearsals because, strict moms, they don't really understand that you gotta let your kid be. You can't, you ain't gonna, you're not gonna stop the way your kid grows just because you think that they shouldn't be around something. The
Mhm.
best thing to do is to just talk to them about it. But at the time, I thought she was hating. I thought she just didn't realize my full potential. So a lot of that turned towards anxiety, and
Mhm.
I ended up getting into a lot of adventures.
You finally relocate to Chicago.
Mhm.
What year was that?
My first time coming back was 2010. My second time coming back was 2012. That's where I officially stayed. And I was singing with my brother Avir. We was about to start a gospel group, and the reputation was preceding itself. Every time we would go somewhere, did y'all got some music out? We was like, how y'all even know? So that's how I knew that some people knew about me. And then, of course, singing before Mosaic, I was singing with Kiara Shear for 6 years, and she took me all around the world, brought me to Chicago, and I think that's how I ended up getting a Chicago fan base because when I came here and sang with her, that's when a lot of people from Chicago started following me.
Like being on your own at all, did it kind of like shy you away, or did it motivate you to, grow yourself more?
It motivated me because I didn't want to sing gospel. I felt like there were so many different topics that I could touch on that didn't make me feel limited. Even though I love God, He heard my cry. You know, I just felt like I could talk about broader situations. I probably will actually circle back around to making a gospel album at some point because there's no music like gospel music, period. So for that reason alone, yes, I probably will make a journey back around to see what that's giving. But everybody knows I'm a little edgy, so it will probably be interesting.
You release High Places,
Mm-hmm.
2016. That
Mm-hmm.
was like your debut EP.
Mm-hmm. So I released it at a weird time. I think it was like 12, 12 at night, and I just was like, push the button, push the button, push it, push it, push it, push it, push it. I just pushed it, and I was like, well, whatever happens, happens. And I didn't even know that the music was catching on until years later. I mean, I was performing the music 2 years prior before I released it, and then when I released it, I just didn't know. I didn't know who listened to it. I would go to restaurants. Hey, I like your song, and I'm like, whose song? My song? Like, yeah, on High Places. I'm like, oh. So once that started happening a lot, I was like, how can I check the numbers? How can I? So I got a manager, not the one I have now. Her name is Lyrical, and she showed me how to look at what was happening, and I was like, wow, this is a big number. So I was like, do I have some money coming? And the truth is, I did have money. I had money, back pay money that I didn't register. My manager now, Kim, she put all my information in the correct way, and she got me my coin. For every artist that's new, if you don't enter your stuff correctly, it will just be sitting.
I'm so happy you shared that because you know it's important for artists to register their music correctly because they're missing out on a lot, especially when you have stations like Vocalo spinning your record and you're receiving BDS, but when it's not registered, you're not receiving any coin. So, man, I'm so happy that you linked up with the right people
Mm-hmm.
that got you right because it's important. And you also went on tour with I remember when you went on tour with No Name. Was it her Room 25
Room
tour?
25.
You went on tour with her, 40 cities.
Yeah.
Especially for you, how was that? Because at the end of the day, if I'm not mistaken, is this your first? Well, no, it's not your first time touring. You've already toured previous.
Mhm. This is my first time doing a real artist tour. Now, it's different when you're with a choir. It's different when you're with an ensemble. But this is my first time basically under an artist, under her own strength, her own money. All of it was just very independent. And I would have to say Mosaic and Kiera helped train me for that because I knew how to listen to a woman. I knew how to anticipate certain needs. Like if she was on stage, she was uncomfortable and she didn't know how to say something, I was always like, she needs some water. Like I'll run out there and help her with her pack because it's certain things you look for when someone is leading. That really helped. And she pointed it out. She's like, you really helped me. And I'm like, I love people. I love you. So that was a learning experience every day, like being regular, like going to eat and then 4,000 people on stage. And No Name is a very humble, regular person.
I'm a fan of No Name. And when that tour hit, like I said, I remember you went on that tour. I think I reached out to interview you around that time, but you were already on tour. You're back now, and then the pandemic hit. Like, how has the pandemic affected you musically? I mean,
Well,
and personally.
first I was just freaking out because the studio I go to, they were not having it. They were like, no. But after I couldn't get in the studio, the pandemic basically pushed me into producing because I didn't want to wait for anybody. So that's what the pandemic did for me. I learned how to grow weed. I bought all the equipment for that. I grew 2 successful harvests. I learned how to produce. I got hella vocal clients, hella production clients. So that's what it did for me.
So you've learned a lot over the pandemic and investment wise, if I'm not mistaken, did you said you produce? So did you like get your own equipment and start producing like your own, of course, production and music content?
Yes, I got my own equipment and I produced 5 songs out of the 12 songs on my new project, Sagittarius Vol.2.
And now that we on the topic of Sagittarius Volume 2, I look at it as like your debut album.
Mhm. I would have to say the same thing. At first, I didn't want to even think about that or even put myself in the mind of album, because I don't want people to anticipate my next moves or to be like, hey, this. But at the end of the day, you only have one life, and I can't be held to what others, prescribe to. I just have to continue to push out hot content. I truly pride myself on the quality that it takes to make something great. So yeah, that's me.
Sagittarius Volume 2. It's like 12 records on this
Hmm.
project. You produced 5 out of the 12.
Yep.
Um, what 5 records did you touch specifically on this project?
The 5 songs that I produced are Tell Me, Make a Scene, Don't Call Back, Initiate, and Alone Again.
That's almost half the project that you've done over the course of the pandemic to give to the world.
Those five
Um,
songs were over the course of 3 months. And my manager was definitely nervous and concerned. She was trying to pull songs out the woodworks. And I'm like, no, no, G, I got it. I got it.
Shout out Kim too. I mean, knowing that Sagittarius Volume 2 is out and House Cats featuring Duran Bernard also landed on an Apple Music playlist.
I never know how that's going to happen, but when it happens to an independent artist, it is a win. It's a win. And it was 2 big editorial playlists on Spotify too. It's always a pleasure. I do this for the happiness of my soul. So when people acknowledge it, that's even better. My ultimate goal is just to be able to travel to any city at any given time and say something like, "Hey, California," or "Hey, Dallas, I'm here," and then 600 people show up. That's my goal.
I respect that. It's not all about just being the biggest artist in the world. It's just about being an artist that bring memories, laughter, fun times, and honestly sharing your story, because
Mhm.
your story is in your music. And the goal behind music is to have your listeners feel that. And I
Exactly.
feel it, my brother. So before I actually jump into your single, I want you to let people know, most importantly, where they can get in tune, get in touch with you, and of course follow you.
You can get in tune with me on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. My Instagram is I am Adam Ness, ADAMNESS. I have a website, iamadamness.com, and the email, iamadamness@gmail. My music is on Spotify, Tidal, Apple, everywhere. The album is Sagittarius Vol.2. The name is 2 words, Adam Ness. Sometimes people, Adam Ness, Adam Ness.
How they
Adam.
put it together.
It's not Adam Ness. Adam Ness, like Adam West.
Let everybody know the single we finna get into.
This single is for all of y'all because I know that you be in the house. Because guess what? You had to be. And if you had to be, you was in there doing something you ain't had no business doing. And that's what I'm talking about in this song. Just being cuddled up, being sweet, being vulnerable, being everything you need to be with somebody that you can trust, okay? So the song is called House.